I ran a survey where over 800 Sonic fans ranked all the levels from Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on the Sega Genesis, and let's just say people had some pretty wild comments. Emerald Hill is just a worse Green Hill reskin and overrated. Chemical Plant Zone is just hold right to win. Aquatic Ruin is a masterpiece and has my favorite song of all time. Casino Night sucks and is even worse than Labyrinth Zone. I was held under the curse of hating Metropolis when I was little. Then one day, I finally realized it's pretty fun, surprisingly. Get Out. In this survey, people could rank every level from Sonic 2 on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. There are 20 stages in the game, and before you all ask, no, special stages don't count. So with all the introductory stuff out of the way, let's see where each stage ranked. In 20th place with an average score of 3.01 out of 10 stars, voted as the worst stage in the game, we have Metropolis Zone Act 3. Let's look at some of the comments that people wrote about Metropolis Zone. Metropolis is the worst levels in video game history. I am very passionate about hating Metropolis Act 3. Metropolis killed my grandma. I hate Metropolis Zone. Whoever decided to have a third act for Metropolis Zone doesn't deserve happiness. The brain cell who thought it was okay to add 3 Metropolis acts had to have died cold and alone. I would rather play all of Labyrinth and Marble than play through Metropolis Zone. Metropolis has the worst enemy placements in the series, and to add salt to the wound, it has 3 frickin' acts. God bless you, man. Also, my dad said over the phone that if I could beat Metropolis Zone Act 3, he would come home. He hasn't returned in a long time. As you can see, a lot of people don't like Metropolis Zone. The enemies are annoying, like these starfish that explode into difficult to avoid projectiles. The enemy placement is really unfair. There are so many times when they'll just throw enemies right in front of you that are nearly impossible to see coming, or they'll put them on cliffs that you have to jump on, making it almost certain that you'll get hit. What makes matters worse is the hitboxes of some of the enemies are insane. Like, look at this. I should have definitely taken this guy out, but somehow I got hit. Act 3 has a boss which does take more brain cells than the average Sonic 2 boss, as you have to hit Eggman at the right time to avoid the little egg things flying around him. But it can be hard to know when to jump at times, as the game being in 2D hurts your depth perception. It's not hard to see why Metropolis is so hated amongst the fans, but like always, you've got a few people who can look on the bright side. Metropolis isn't the best, but it is way overhated. Metropolis Zone ain't even that bad. It's low-key a skill issue, also it's super easy with Supersonic. Metropolis isn't that bad. Sky Chase is always worse. Wait, why is Sky Chase catching a stray? Metropolis isn't that hard, just get good. I do actually like it though, as it feels climactic to say. It's the last normal zone before the climax of the game. Of course the game wants to push you to the limit to test you. It gets so much hate, but like, come on, it's just Sonic level design except hard. Before you get your pitchforks, I also think that this level is somewhat tolerable. Wait, let me explain! I like the bouncy walls, the corkscrews, the tubes, and the fast springs that can actually make you go fast in some parts of the stage. And unlike other levels, Mystic Cave, Hilltop, this is a level that is challenging but fast and fun as well. The cons are the Slicer, just him, the other two are pieces of cake, the rising platforms that go in oval direction, and the pointless lava in some parts of the level, not to mention the arrows. This is a level that is actually fun, but chooses to be challenging as well, and I like it for that. The boss, with the exception of cheesing him with Supersonic, can be somewhat a challenge if you don't have Supersonic and you're having trouble hitting him in the right spot. Overall, the level is pretty good. Fight me. All I can say is, if you ever find yourself feeling like no one could ever love you, remember that there are people out there who love this. In 19th place with an average score of 3.84 out of 10 stars, we have Metropolis Zone Act 2, and I'm not going to waste your time, 18th place is Metropolis Zone Act 1 with 4.33 out of 10 stars. No surprise that all 3 of the acts of Metropolis are down here. Metropolis is the only stage in the game with 3 acts as well. Sonic 2 decided to trim the fat of Sonic 1 and lower the level count from 3 acts per zone to 2 acts, which I think was a pretty good decision. It makes it feel like you're progressing through the game faster, and it allows for more stage variety, which makes it all the more insane that they decided to give what many consider to be the worst stage in the game 3 whole acts. In any case, with Metropolis out of the way, we move on to 17th place with an average score of 5.12 out of 10 stars, Oil Ocean Zone Act 2. Oil Ocean is interesting. It had a mix of positive, negative, and neutral comments, so let's check out a few of them. Oil Ocean sucks and is the worst stage in Sonic 2. I low-key love Oil Ocean. Oil Ocean is okay, I like the concept, but could have been better. Oil Ocean, way too long, way too slow, and everyone I know are getting lost in the zone, wasting a lot of time. Oil Ocean is underrated. It's actually the best level in Sonic 2. Oil Ocean is such a drag. The fans are annoying and those checkered cannons take forever. It's thematically cool that it takes place at an oil rig though. It fits well with the environmental themes of the classic games. Oil Ocean and Metropolis are brothers. They're both bad. I love Oil Ocean, especially its music. It feels like an industrial desert, and this is a very unique theme, and as someone who lives in Egypt, I feel it fits it very well as an industrial desert. Oil Ocean is slightly overhated, but it's still not good. It's probably the worst stage in the game, other than Metropolis. Oil Ocean Act 1 is already a boring level, the enemies suck and the music is nothing to write home about, which is especially weird because usually music saves levels that are bad. But then you get to Act 2 and you just wish that Oil Ocean is only one act because boy this level drags. And it is hard to navigate as well, like why are there cannons that shoot you backwards in the level? I just don't like it. I'm glad it was set on fire in Mania. Justice for Oil Ocean, top 3 zones in this game. Oil Ocean, meh, not much to say other than really great music. So, as you can see, opinions on Oil Ocean were very mixed, but honestly, levels like this are why I like doing these polls. If you're a Sonic fan and you've been around in the community for a while, then you probably already know which levels are going to be at the top and the bottom of the polls. But those levels in the middle, around, 5 to 6 star ratings, those are where you find gold. The controversial levels that some people think are terrible, others think are amazing, and some individuals just think are okay. There's a whole lot more room for discussion with these levels. Moving on to 16th place with an average score of 5.25 out of 10 stars, we have Sky Chase Zone. I'm a little disappointed that Sky Chase ranked this low. I'm something of a Sky Chase stan myself. I always thought it was a nice breather after the 3-act marathon that is Metropolis Zone. The gimmick of riding on a plane is kinda neat, and the music, man, I know, it's a Sonic game, of course the soundtrack is bomb, but man, Sky Chase's music is so soothing and relaxing, I love it. Let's look at some of the comments about Sky Chase. Sky Chase is the worst zone in the game. Sky Chase is honestly kinda epic. Sky Chase isn't really bad, but it's simple. Every 2 minutes and 6 seconds I spend playing Sky Chase is 2 minutes and 6 seconds of my life I could have been doing something actually engaging. Sky Chase is a cute moment that lets you stop and smell the roses while thinking through what kind of adventures Sonic and Tails went on together. Sky Chase is more of an interactive cutscene than anything. With an exception to the 2-minute autoscroll level that is Sky Chase Zone, all of Sonic 2's levels are great. Sky Chase works well as a breather from Metropolis, but it's such a bore on repeat playthroughs. It's an autoscroller in a Sonic game. I like how the story begins to pick up here though. I like how Sky Chase Zone is where you control the plane. Besides that, RIP for the animals that come out of the Badniks in that level. Oh, wow, I never noticed that. Those flickies are just dead. They're falling like 10,000 miles down to the earth. But anyways, you can see that, like Oil Ocean, this is a controversial level. Definitely one of the most unique levels in the game, and as such, everyone has a different take on it. I can understand people who find it boring as there really isn't much to do, and the pace is really slow, which is kind of the antithesis of Sonic, but I don't know, I like how chill it is. In 15th place, with an average score of 5.47 out of 10 stars, we have Oil Ocean Act 1. One of the things that I noticed in the Sonic 1 level ranking video was that a lot of the zones were ranked with all of their levels back to back. However, as we can see here, occasionally the gap in quality between acts in each zones is a bit larger. In any case, I don't really have strong opinions on Act 1 versus Act 2 outside of, I guess you don't have to deal with the boss in Act 1, which is nice. In 14th place with an average score of 6 out of 10 stars, we have Death Egg Zone, the final level in the game. Sonic 2 definitely upped the ante when it came to the final boss. This boss is a gauntlet where you have to first fight Mecha Sonic, no not Metal Sonic, Mecha Sonic, although I have heard some people call him Silver Sonic. Then, after beating him, you get a cutscene where Eggman manages to outrun Sonic, leading to one final battle against Eggman and his Death Egg robot. Let's look at some of the comments about Death Egg Zone. Death Egg Zone might just be the hardest level in any Sonic game to date. Death Egg Zone, while not as impressive now, is still a decent endurance test if you wait for opening hits, or a crazy adrenaline ride if you're a madman and get more risky. Death Egg would be a couple of good boss fights, but whack hitboxes, again, and no rings make it really painful to get through. Death Egg boss fights are pretty good, only bad thing about them is you need to do them no hit. Death Egg Robot's hitbox sucks. Would have been a fantastic send-off otherwise. Death Egg Zone, a good final boss, not too hard if you play it safe, but they could have given us at least one ring. Silver Sonic gave me tinnitus. I think you should get that checked out. In any case, the Death Egg Zone is pretty difficult. As the comments mentioned, the hitboxes can be really annoying to deal with. The back of Mecha Sonic's head has spikes which can hurt you, and the Death Egg Robot has hitboxes all over. If you try to hit him in his chest, if you do it at the wrong time, his spiked fingers will hit you. If you try to hit him from behind, his feet and the flames from his jetpack can get you too. And to make matters worse, you have no rings, meaning every hit is instant death. In 13th place with an average score of 6.23 out of 10 stars, we have Wing Fortress Zone. You know the deal, let's look at the comments. I hate Wing Fortress. It's like Marble Zone, but if you fall, you instantly die. Wing Fortress is actually a pretty fun platforming challenge when you can see the platforms ahead of you, and it has some really fun skips. Wing Fortress Zone is just meh. Wing Fortress is the best one-level sky-based stage in the entire franchise. Wing Fortress's level design and enemy placement is brutal, honestly. Wing Fortress is an epic level. The tension rises with Tails getting shot down along with the tornado, and the music gives a feeling of an epic event being about to happen. I like that the sections of the stage reflect the fact that you're on the outside of a moving ship, like the part where you're in the air and you have to cling to the walls. Wing Fortress is confusing at times, which often leads to your death. That is a shame because it's a good level. Wing Fortress Zone is actually quite fun. It does feel more like a Mario level though. I wouldn't wish Wing Fortress on my worst enemy of all time. Wing Fortress is neat. It has the best boss fight in the game and the best skip in the game. But what does it say that I always want to skip half the level? Wing Fortress is underrated, bro. It's so peak. If Wing Fortress has 10,000 fans, I'm one of them. If Wing Fortress has 10 fans, I'm one of them. If the whole world is against Wing Fortress, I'm against the world. I love Wing Fortress. Get you somebody who looks at you the same way this person looks at Wing Fortress Zone. Wing Fortress is essentially the last full level of the game, and while it isn't as painful as, say, Metropolis, it is a lot more deadly. There's bottomless pits everywhere, and the boss is actually pretty tricky. The level is also a bit difficult to navigate through at times, as many parts of the level can look the same. As you see from the comments, opinions on Wing Fortress are mixed, although I think it leaned a bit more on the positive side. In 12th place with an average score of 6.51 out of 10 stars, we have Aquatic Ruin Act 2. And in 11th place, we have Aquatic Ruin Act 1 with an average score of 6.79 out of 10 stars. Aquatic Ruin has the honor of being the most mid of the Sonic 2 levels. It's definitely the stage that I think about the least when Sonic 2 comes to mind. Aquatic Ruin is a water level, which is interesting because it comes up right after Chemical Plant, which is also kind of a water level. So it is weird that they put Aquatic Ruin right after it. Let's look at some Aquatic Ruin comments. Aquatic Ruin might be the most underrated level in Sonic history. Aquatic Ruin has to be one of this series' best water levels. Despite the reputation that water levels have in Sonic, I found Aquatic Ruin to be quite enjoyable. Aquatic Ruin is kinda mid, with those arrows that you forget about, then catch up with you and snipe you. Aquatic Ruin is honestly underrated in my opinion. The fact that you can skip the water if you take the upper path is awesome. Also, the music slaps. Aquatic Ruin is really fun on land, and not like the water part is bad like in Sonic 1's Labyrinth, but still pretty fun. The only bad part is that the level is kind of short. The arrows and flies. I hate those stupid flies! Aquatic Ruin Zone felt too linear compared to the other zones and just mindless except for maybe Act 2. Aquatic Ruin Zone is underrated. The vibes are immaculate. The different pathways are so fun. Getting stuck in the water is avoidable punishment, which makes getting up to the treetops that much more rewarding. Making the leaves fall down as you zoom around the upper screen limit is peak. Aquatic Ruin is forgettable because it looks so bland. Aquatic Ruin is the best, fight me. So, surprisingly, opinions on Aquatic Ruin were pretty positive. I've never really been a huge fan of this stage thanks to all of the grounders that pop up out of nowhere and hit you. I've always thought that Aquatic Ruin was just okay, which, to be fair, for a water level is honestly pretty impressive. So I was caught off guard to see as many positive comments about it as I did. Aquatic Ruin does have some quality features. Like many of the comments mentioned, you can avoid the water if you stick to the top path, which is a nice way to reward skillful play. Do I think it's the best water level in the series? Well, it's definitely better than Labyrinth, but then you've got levels like Water Palace from Sonic Rush, which can certainly give Aquatic Ruin a run for its money. We finally move into the top 10. In 10th place, with an average score of 6.9 out of 10 stars, we have Mystic Cave Act 2. This seems like the perfect place to bring up one of the biggest controversies in my survey. Why wasn't Hidden Palace here? Did you forget Hidden Palace? Why no Hidden Palace Zone? Where is Hidden Palace Zone? No Hidden Palace? No Hidden Palace Zone from the mobile version / Origins? I would give it an 8. You forgot Hidden Palace Zone? Hidden Palace Zone is the best. Wait, where is it? How on earth could you forget Hidden Palace? Listen, I didn't forget Hidden Palace Zone, okay? Hidden Palace Zone isn't in the game. For the two people who don't know, Mystic Cave Act 2 has the infamous pit in the level that is impossible to escape from without cheats. In the 2013 mobile version of Sonic 2 and the version of Sonic 2 in the Sonic Origins collection, the pit was changed, and instead, it has a secret entrance to a level called Hidden Palace Zone, which was a scrapped level in the original Sonic 2. This survey was for the original Genesis Sonic 2, not the updated versions on mobile and in Sonic Origins. And as we all know, Hidden Palace isn't accessible in the original Sonic 2, which is why it wasn't in the survey. I guess to be fair, the Origins version is the most accessible version of the game now, so maybe it would have been better to use that version for the survey. I'll keep that in mind for future surveys. In any case, let's actually get to the level I'm supposed to be talking about, Mystic Cave Act 2. Mystic Cave is a pretty great zone. The music is really good, it gives off this spooky amusement park ride kind of vibe. The level design is also really good. The level is open-ended without being too confusing. There's a bunch of different pathways and places to swap between the different pathways. The level also strikes a great balance when it comes to challenge. You can't turn your brain off, but it also isn't super frustrating. This is a great level to start the top 10 off with. In 9th place, with an average score of 6.99 out of 10 stars, we have Hilltop Zone Act 2. And in 8th place, with an average score of 7.03 out of 10 stars, we have Hilltop Zone Act 1. I was honestly pretty surprised that Hilltop Zone made it this high up. As a kid, I never really cared for Hilltop as it just seemed too similar to Emerald Hill, but now I actually quite like it. It's got a fairly fast pace, it has some neat set pieces like the rising lava moment, and of course, the music perfectly encapsulates that Genesis twang. Let's check out what you all had to say about Hilltop Zone. I like Hilltop Zone. I love Hilltop Zone, especially Act 2. In Act 2, there's a lava section where it's coming up and you have to get out of it in time. This section is so fun. Hilltop kinda weirded me out the first time. The sprite work looks like it would fit some Western developed mascot platformer like Bubsy. The music is also odd, but it grew on me. Overall, I'd say I had fun and still have fun when playing through it. It's not too bad, just less remarkable. Hilltop is underrated and is my personal favorite. Hilltop is better than Emerald Hill. Okay, that's definitely controversial. I like how simple Hilltop is. It's a change of pace. The set piece with the rising lava in Act 2 is cool too. I always liked how Hilltop Zone had a part where you had to run away from the lava. Gave me Indiana Jones vibes. Hilltop. It's like if you combine Starlight and Emerald Hill together. Has really neat lava chases and platforming. That's interesting because Hilltop seems like Emerald Hill mixed with Marble Zone from Sonic 1, but it does bring back the seesaws from Starlight Zone in Sonic 1 too. Hilltop is a great zone that needs to return, and I'm tired of people acting like it isn't. Hilltop is boring. Also, the music is bad. Okay, now that's just ridiculous. So yeah, overall, pretty positive things to say about Hilltop, and I concur, it is a good zone. In 7th place, with an average score of 7.05 out of 10 stars, we have Mystic Cave Zone Act 1. I didn't go over the actual comments about Mystic Cave Zone when I did Mystic Cave Act 2 earlier, so let's look at some of those. Mystic Cave looks and sounds great, is generally fun to play through, and has cool transitional moments with the levers and whatnot. The pit is infamous for a reason though. Mystic Cave is best zone in the game overall. As a kid, I convinced myself that it was a forest at nighttime for some reason. Mystic Cave Act 1 and 2 is overrated. After Mystic Cave Zone, the game really drops in quality. I think this game is boring. Mystic Cave is peak though. Mystic Cave felt more like a Yoshi level, not gonna lie. The Mystic Cave Act 2 Spike Pit is obviously BS, but I kind of love it for just how stupidly memorable it is, even if it's for all the wrong reasons. Mystic Cave could be the best level if there was less ways to get crushed and better badniks. Still a really great level though. Classic Sonic peaked at Mystic Cave Zone. I will forever stand by the fact that Mystic Cave is the best level in Sonic 2. Well, there you go. Mystic Cave, folks. In 6th place with an average score of 7.25 out of 10 stars, we have Casino Night Act 2. And starting off the top 10 with an average score of 7.4 out of 10 stars, we have Casino Night Act 1. Let's take a look at what you all had to say about Casino Night. Not my favorite level, but people don't talk enough about how awesome Casino Night is. Casino Night Zone is also chill with practically no enemies, making it like a fun playground to jump around. Casino Night sucks and is even worse than Labyrinth Zone. Casino Night is kinda mid. Also, you forgot Hidden Palace. No, I didn't. Casino Night Act 1, aesthetically iconic, mechanically overrated. Casino Night, best pinball in Sonic series, and an actual addition to Sonic's moveset. Also, it has my favorite classic tune, and gambling is fun. Peak Sonic 2. Casino Night is quite fun with a neat boss. Let's go gambling, as they say. Casino Night is slow, has lots of crushing hazards, and is annoying to navigate. I like the slot machines though, and Act 2 has ones that are easier to access, so it's better than the first. My favorite zone is Casino Night. My least favorite zone is Oil Ocean. Casino Night is cool, it has the funniest boss, but I wish it had more enemy and trap variety. My favorite zone was Casino Night Zone, mainly for their jackpot system. I have to say something. Casino Night is the best zone of the game. It's too fun. Casino Night looks amazing, but the zone is not that fun to play. I definitely used to like Casino Night more than I do now. The music and aesthetics are good, but the level itself is honestly kind of mid. Casino Night Zone is the best zone ever because get unlimited coins. Well, I mean, they're rings, but I get what you're saying. Casino Night 1 is neat. Very fun atmosphere, just overuse of those moving blocks that don't do anything for the gameplay hold it back. Casino Night 2 is a fantastic stage, and to this day, one of the best carnival/casino stages. I especially love that they add the gambling to it, and that the level design has a lot of curves as if it was a pinball machine. Casino Night Zone fuels my gambling addiction. Casino Night, cool aesthetics, but this zone offers little when it comes to level design and enemy placement. It's also very cramped. If you don't like Casino Night, you are psycho. Casino Night has the best speedrunning routes, or at least the most satisfying. I used to love Casino Night, but now I'm an Aquatic Ruin guy. Casino's still good, but not the best. Casino Night Act 1 is overrated. Nevertheless, the vibe is immaculate. I just do not like that this is a worse Spring Yard Act 1. Casino Night Zone Act 2 is more of the same. Who would have thought? Yeah, Sonic 2 really has a problem with distinct levels. The Act 2s feel like nothing besides the bosses, of course. The overall perception of Casino Night was pretty positive, but I will agree with some of the comments that the aesthetics and gimmicks of the zone kind of carry it. The level design isn't terrible, I don't mind playing through it, in fact I find it to be a nice change of pace, but I personally don't find it as fun as say Mystic Cave or Hilltop. In 4th place, with an average score of 7.48 out of 10 stars, we have Chemical Plant Act 2. And in 3rd place, with an average score of 8.17 out of 10 stars, we have Chemical Plant Act 1. That's a pretty huge gap of 0.69 in points. The only larger point difference between acts being the gap between Metropolis Act 2 and Act 3, which was 0.83 points. Let's take a look at the comments and see if we can gather why that is. Chemical Plant is by far the best zone in the game. Memorable music, the fun level design, and the Badniks give this level a 10 out of 10 rating. Chemical Plant is the Sonic 2 stage. I love Chemical Plant, it's so peak! I hate that one part in Chemical Plant Zone Act 2 where you have to escape the rising water. Chemical Plant is overrated. I can understand nostalgia, but there's only so many times you could beat a dead horse before it becomes overused. Aquatic Ruin is peak though. Chemical Plant, iconic, tense, good water usage, and balances tight platforming with speed pretty well. but some of the bottomless pits in Act 2 are unexpected and feel too punishing for new players. Still, great act that has more interesting set pieces, and bouncing on a boss for 3 seconds at the end is fun, but you still need to be careful or else you'll fall into a pit after you're finished. Chemical Plant is peak. No wonder why it's a zone in Sonic Mania and Sonic Generations. As a kid, I hated Chemical Plant because I couldn't beat the underwater part with the moving blocks. It took me about 2 years to beat Sonic 2, but Chemical Plant on Sonic Mania is a real masterpiece. Metropolis is slightly better than Chemical Plant. Wait, what? Chemical Zone Act 2 is perfect. Loop-de-loops, slope speed sections, rising water, fair enemy placement. Chemical Plant, the de facto Sonic the Hedgehog level. Chemical Plant is a solid second level. Act 2 has tons of speed, but it's a harsh skill check. Definitely where the game picks up in difficulty. Chemical Plant is the perfect Sonic level if it didn't have that one part with the platforms where you gotta jump up with the slow platforms, but other than that, the perfect high-speed Sonic level. Chemical Plant Act 2 is amazing. Not only do you get to move at the speed of light in that zone, but that one rising water section is genuinely peak Sonic level design for me. Something that's a challenge at first, but you'll eventually get better at it and find ways to skip it. I hate Chemical Plant 2 due to the water shenanigans and Metropolis Zone because of the Mantis. In my opinion, Emerald Hill should be used more than Chemical Plant. Forces, Generations, Mania, yada yada. Though this zone is still good because I think it is faster than Emerald Hill, and I like the enemies and the fast tubes. The rising water part doesn't bother me because I could either A, fly with Tails in the 2013 version, or B, spin dash with or without Supersonic to jump to the top. Or just take the skip on the other side of the loop before you go down, leading you right to the boss. That is iconic, but not very good. Chemical Plant is pretty good, but the one part where you climb up the obstacles where you potentially drown and have to parkour with moving platforms are pretty hard if you are playing for the first time. I really wanted to have a unique answer, but there's a reason they keep bringing back Chemical Plant. It's that good. Act 1 is superior though. Chemical Plant Zone Act 2 is probably fastest level in the whole Sonic 2. It's really fun zooming around the factory, going through the pipes. The water isn't really an issue, even the dreaded climb section. It can be fun. Plus, if you know what you're doing, you can skip it. And let's not forget the many secrets hidden in walls this level has. Chemical Plant is like way until the boss fight, then boom, it sucks. Never got the hype or the reason to overuse this zone. Chemical Plant is mid. You either go at full speed, you don't have to put effort to achieve it so it's not very rewarding, without doing much in the way, kinda like an average Advanced 2 stage, or get interrupted by slower platforming, making the zone very stop and go. Also, Act 2 is a major difficulty spike. When you think of Sonic 2, this shows up as well because it's the fastest zone like ever. Like the camera not being able to keep up with your speed is so iconic. It makes you feel like you're actually fast. It mixes speed with some good platforming I like, and I don't get the complaint of the water section in Act 2. I've never drowned in it personally. Great zone. The boss is also pretty easy, but can get you to lose a life because of Tails. That said, I do find it to be a tad bit overrated, just slightly though. Chemical Plant is great, but the rising water can suck it. Also, the amount of pandering in the series sometimes reaches Green Hill level, so I see myself getting tired of the theme of the level. I like what Mania did with it though. Chemical Plant is a great stage, iconic even, but Act 2 has the infamous platforming section with the slow moving blocks in the water, which drags the level down for a lot of people. But even with the big gap between Acts 1 and 2, Act 2 still ranked in the top 4, and it's still only one place below Act 1, which just goes to show how well loved Chemical Plant is. Like the last comment mentioned, Chemical Plant is so ubiquitous with this game that it's kind of the Green Hill zone of Sonic 2. Which is funny considering Sonic 2 has a Green Hill clone. In fact, it even has 2 if you want to count Hilltop. That takes us to the top 2, which you probably already know at this point. In second place with an average score of 8.18 out of 10 stars, we have Emerald Hill Act 2. And in first place with an average score of 8.33 out of 10 stars, we have Emerald Hill Act 1. I'm actually kind of surprised that Emerald Hill won. I guess I kind of thought that since it's aesthetically a Green Hill clone, that would make it lose points for some people, but no. To be fair, Emerald Hill Act 2 only just barely beat Chemical Plant Act 1, so it was a pretty close race. Let's see what you all said about Emerald Hill. Sonic 2 peaked at Emerald Hill. Not gonna lie, Emerald Hill Zone is fire. Emerald Hill has so many secrets, it's always really fun to replay. Emerald Hill is a sauceless Green Hill ripoff. Emerald Hill Zone is so much better than Green Hill Zone. Emerald Hill has really boring level design, with you just having to hold right and occasionally jump in Act 1. Emerald Hill Zone, everything about this stage is iconic. The corkscrews, springs, loops, the boss, and even the Batniks make this the best level in the game, which is kinda underwhelming because you realize you have to get to later parts of the game, and you can get Supersonic in this level. Hi Kiro, thanks for having me in your video. Plus, I love Sonic 2 and my fave zone is Emerald Hill Zone. You're welcome. Emerald Hill 1 just seems like a new and improved Green Hill, and that's great. Genuinely fun starting level, and I prefer it over any Green Hill act. Emerald Hill 2 is almost as good as the first one. It feels a lot more slower to move around and get to places, but that's mostly because of the many paths you can take in it. I despise half of the zones, and Emerald Hill is one of them. Starting with Emerald Hill, wow, this level is amazing. It can give Green Hill its lunch money. Pretty good zone, great to blast off and explore to collect the 7 emeralds. Not to mention the music is top notch. I love this zone. The boss is easy, but that's the point, I guess. Green Hill is looking a lot more like Emerald Hill right now. Emerald Hill makes you go fast. That is why I gave it 10 stars. I mean, that's probably the best analysis today. But there you go. That's all the levels in Sonic 2 ranked by you all. It was cool reading the comments that you all posted. Except for the comments saying stuff like, you will do a Sonic CD survey next. Do Sonic CD next. Make a Sonic CD one. Do a Sonic CD poll. Or Sega Sonic the Hedgehog. You forgot Sonic CD, you bum. But Sonic CD fans weren't the only crazy ones. Here are some other comments. Do a Sonic 3 and Knuckles survey. Now do Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Make Sonic 3 and Knuckles 4. I want you just to skip 3 and Knuckles and just go on to Adventure without saying anything. Just pretend it doesn't exist. You know what? I like the sound of that. The Sonic Adventure survey is now live. So go ahead and do the survey and you may be in the next survey video. A link to take the survey will be in the description. But with that out of the way, I think that's it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. And if you do subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you'll know when I upload something new. If you're interested in watching more videos where I talk about stuff, go check out the Sonic 1 level ranking video. And here's a whole playlist of Sonic videos for you to check out if you're looking for something to marathon or to just have something to listen to as background noise. That's all I've got to talk about for today though, so thanks for watching y'all, and have a great rest of your day.